Hi guys, Cassie here, and today I'm going to be doing a video on Animal Crossing. I had some friends get this game over the Christmas period and they were asking some really great questions, so I wanted to share everything I was able to teach them, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So to start off with, the very first thing I let them know is that when you have rocks, it is time-based for how much you get out of the rocks. And when you hit the rocks, there's a bit of a kickback. So if you first put 3 holes behind you and then start hitting the rocks, you're going to get a lot more out of your rocks than you would otherwise, which is really good when you're trying to get a lot of ore, especially in that early game time. So the second thing that I would recommend comes with fruit. So when you start off your island, you're going to have a native fruit. In my case, my native fruit happens to be pears. So if I go ahead and I sell 3 of my pears right now, we'll see what price they give me. They'll give me 300 bells, which, fine, selling them. But if you sell non-native fruit, for example, on my island, that could be apples, coconuts, anything that I don't already have on my island, then I can make a lot more profit. And so see, now you get 1,500 bells, which is great. So something that can be really good is selling your fruit, your native fruit, on an island that has a different native fruit to you. So if I went over to my friend's island who has apples for a native fruit and I sold my pears, I would make a good profit and she could do the same. So that is definitely something that I recommend. And if you don't have the online feature, what you can just do, because if you visit other islands, Nook Mile Islands, there's usually one Nook Mile Island that has fruit that is not native to you. So you could basically get rid of some of your native fruit trees and replant some of the non-native fruit trees. That way you'll make more of a profit. So speaking of fruit, if you happen to accidentally eat a piece of fruit, it can be really good for when you're trying to chop down trees or get rid of stumps and stuff like that. But if you happen to eat stuff not on purpose and you don't want to kind of have that extra power, then a good way to get rid of it is by sitting on the throne. Yeah, that takes care of that. So if you're looking to speed up conversations, I would recommend that you mash B, because it'll basically skip through the majority of the conversation for you, which is great. And this is also something that you can use when you're crafting to speed up your crafting as well. If you happen to spot a glow hole, you can get money out of it, and you can also choose to put money into it. So if you, for example, went into your money, took out 100 bells, you could then bury it, and in 3 days it'll grow into a money tree that can give you bags of money back. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting more than what I just put, because the more that you put into the hole, the higher chance there is that you won't get a profit back. But it can be good to make money this way. The only thing is, after you shake the money out of them, they just become normal trees. So try to get rid of them after you have had them fully grow, because otherwise your island will just become completely overpopulated with trees. So of course, on the day when I'd actually like to have a villager be sitting, I can't have a single one of my villagers do what I want them to do. But if you happen to walk into a villager's house and they're sitting and then you can't give a gift to them, what you can do is leave their house and come back, and that'll reset them to their upright position, and you can kind of run and talk to them before they sit down again. So that can be quite helpful. Otherwise, you might be waiting around a while before they decide to stand up again. So if you are looking to pop some balloons, these are some things to keep in mind. The first thing is that you're going to want to know which direction the balloons are coming from. And the easiest way to figure that out is take a look at the smoke above the villagers' houses. Whatever direction the smoke is moving away from is the direction where you will probably find the balloons. So in my case, looking at the smoke here, I would believe that the balloons will most likely be on this side because they can be coming from either beach. Also, something to keep in mind is that if you pop them over flowers, over water, or over the plaza, your present will essentially disappear and you won't end up getting your present. So just try to keep those things in mind and basically be running up and down the beach at every interval of 5 minutes. It shows up starting at the 4th minute, but I find usually you can't really see it until you are at that 5-minute mark. So once it hits 5 minutes, just start running up and down the beach and try to find your balloons the best you can. If you want just some basic information on gift giving in this game, one of the recommendations I would have is always wrap your presents. No matter what present you're giving a villager, they always appreciate it more if you have it wrapped, and you can get the wrapping paper from the Nook store. Once you do go about doing that, in terms of what you wrap, you can give them pretty much everything, but if you want it to always have a positive interaction and be relatively easy, what I would recommend is either give them non-native fruit or give them fossils. Fossils are really good to give if you have them, but if you don't, the non-native fruit, very easy gift and is usually well received. So if you receive something cool and you want to share it with your friends, but you don't want to give them your item, what you can do is something called cataloging. So basically you place the item down, they go ahead and they pick it up, and then they put it back down. And then when they go to their Nook shopping app, then they will have the possibility to buy that item from the Nook shopping app. So this can be a really cool way to share the items that you guys have, but without actually giving up the items. So if you catch a really cool bug or a fish, you might want to consider saving it for either Flick or CJ. You can get a lot more money by selling to them, and you can store both bugs and fish in your inventory back at home. So that is a good way that you can save money. You can also store them outside. So if you decided, all right, I'm just gonna put them down in a little area and wait, you can totally do that too. And it can be really cool to keep 3 of one type in order to be able to make these really cool butterfly statues. Flick will bink them for you. You can also do the same thing with fish. You can talk to CJ and he'll make those through Flick, like Flick does it for him, but he'll give them to you as well. But I find the butterflies make really cool decor, so something to keep in mind. Last but not least, make an effort to speak to Sable. She can give you some really cool patterns, which can be great. And you only get this after talking to her multiple days in a row. She starts telling you more about the life of her and her sister, and it's really cool. So I definitely recommend that you make an effort to talk to Sable every day. You can also talk to her sister, but her sister does not have that benefit. So I hope this has helped you guys. And if there's any other tips that you think I missed out on, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But anyway, toodles for now.